हरे कृष्णा। ये हम सोचना बहुत ध्यान रखें, फ्यूचर में आपका ध्यान रखेगा कि गलत समय में ना रहे। बस आपका गीता सुनने के लिए नहीं रहेगा, लेकिन फ्यूचर में कोई गारंटी नहीं आपका ध्यान रखेगा। तो ये बेटा केवल ही है। अच्छा ऐसा भी है क्या? No, no, but I want to listen. अच्छा मैं चेक कर Every mother sacrifices so much to get her children grow, and it is not that there is any guarantee that they will get a reciprocation. And now you put the house down, you die as the most important person. So while you are young and old, the session hasn't started, don't start doing questions now. I am saying that therefore, we generally have a daily program for our children. When our lectures happen, somebody takes care of the children. So that should be done. It should not be that Sacrifice doesn't mean you sacrifice the soul. Sacrifice means sacrifice the bodily needs, mental needs for the family. But you are accountable. Everybody has to apply his own pain. In the last analysis, nobody is going to check how many children you took care, how many parents you took care. Krishna will also check whether you took care of yourself. Yourself. So I am not encouraging questions, there is nothing to this session. I was only saying, I was thinking when I came here, because I was bringing the house down. So the mother thinks that no, इसका ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा, बुढ़ापे की लकड़ी है.
Or maybe even selfless. Mother is the closest you can come to selflessness in the material world. So we are studying from the mother of all scriptures, which is Bhagavad Gita. Shruti is Mata and Krishna's Pita. What are you doing? Is this visible to everyone? Otherwise you can adjust your seating positions. Do you want to start some introduction or I just started the class? You're busy keeping all the speakers and this thing and everything. Everything from Jyotir Sheva to Chandir Puja, Din Sudama Prabhu. Okay, I want to just check with you. How many of you registered for the course? Okay. From next week, how many of you volunteer to help set up the class? And we want somebody to volunteer. So please, Dwarkadishpur, you can take their names. They can help because otherwise he is running around, he has to introduce also, he has to do this and he has to do that, and it looks very disorganized. Currently it is, but because you need to help. Is that fine? We won't ask you to clean the room and all that, but it's just basic setup. Yes.
Hare Krishna everyone. So we welcome you everyone like who have registered and those who do not register but here. It is our great fortune, we have this opportunity to understand Bhagavad Gita and that too from an elevated devotee. Because it is said, we can understand, we can read Bhagavad Gita many times. But transformation comes when we hear Gita from a bona fide person, like who is coming in a disciplined succession. So we are very fortunate we have the great Rishi Prabhu here. So first of all, we would like to welcome Prabhuji by loudly chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And I would like to apologize for all the technical issues that we are having today. Suddenly our system is not working. So we are looking after alternative arrangements. So it also happened during the session.
Guru Maharaj wants photographs of the progress of this building. All the corners he wants photographs now. So please get it, speak with Achyutari Prabhu and get it organized. We want it now, before I go.
We will be hearing Bhagavad Gita from Prabhuji, who is a very senior disciple, like following Krishna considers more than 25 years.
23.
And Prabhuji is a monk in East of Teras. We have a temple there, that's called Delhi. And Prabhuji is having many services looking after. And Prabhuji has been Vice Chairman for NIDC, Vice President.
Sorry?
Chairman or Vice Chairman?
Vice President of Delhi, ISKCON Delhi, Vice Chairman of NIDC.
So apart from that, Prabhuji is giving so much time to Gurugram communication to all of us. Prabhuji directly all the way from Delhi to Gurugram, we know the traffic. The situation is very bad, but despite all these services, we can understand ISKCON Delhi is such a big temple. And being a vice president of the temple, Prabhuji is having so many services, but he is here only for us. So I would request everyone, please make this opportunity, very fruitful by attending. You can with rapid attention. In the morning, you were discussing, there was a word in the Srimad Bhagavatam by rapid attention. When we hear by rapid attention, ekagrachit hokar, man lagaakar, and it brings transformation to our heart. It's a life-changing seminar, it's a life-changing course. So if we attend all the 18 sessions, I understand it may be difficult, but try to attend all the 18 sessions, and after 18 sessions, we will seek your input. So we would request Prabhuji to take this course forward. Thank you so much for being here.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for that introduction. That puts extra pressure on me to live up to your expectations, if any. So, you'll have to please turn off the kirtan, Dinasudam Prabhu. Dinasudam Prabhu, get somebody to turn off that kirtan, man. It's disrespectful. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते गौरचंद्राय। So welcome you all again to this Bhagavad Gita 18th session course. 18th session is just a nomenclature. It may be a little more if we have to cover the topic in a detailed manner. We'll probably take a few more sessions. That will mean every week we'll have at least we'll try and cover, if not the full chapter, part of the chapter, and if it's a long chapter, we'll try and cover it in a couple of sessions. Okay, I am struggling a little bit to get used to this. I use Mac normally. Okay, it's on, right? Fine. So Bhagavad Gita is also called Gita Upanishad. It's an Upanishad. What is an Upanishad? Upanishad, yes, tell me.
Vedic. It's a Vedic text.
Vedic?
Text.
So what's so special about Vedic text? What kind of Vedic text is it?
Like it tells us about the history.
Sorry?
It tells us about the history.
That is a Purana. Upanishad means come closer. Not just you, all of you. Just Upanishad means it gets us closer to God. Gets closer. But what all the Upanishads are collectively called is Vedanta. Vedanta means the conclusion of the Vedas. They're like headline. It's still fine. It's okay. Stay where you are. Don't go back further again. Okay. So the Bhagavad Gita is also called the Gita Upanishad because Vedas means knowledge. Vedanta means the conclusion of the Vedas, which is the Upanishads. There are 108 primary Upanishads. So the essence of the Vedas is in the Upanishads. And the Gita is the essence of the Vedas. Which means, in the Gita Mahatmya, it is mentioned, Ekam Shastram, it was sent on the group. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam, Eko Deva Devaki Putra Eva, Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani, Karmapyekam Tasya Devasya Seva. So Sripad Shankaracharya comments on this and he says, let there be only one scripture, Bhagavad Gita. That's enough. Everything is captured in that. Eko Deva Devaki Putra Eva. Let there be one deity, Krishna. Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani. Let there be only one mantra, that is his holy name. And Karmapyekam Tasya Devasya Seva. Let there be only one activity, which is service unto him. What's happening? Power, no? Just shows how powerless we are, no? They're very powerless. Uh, so the Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters, 700 verses, out of which 574 verses were spoken by Krishna. 84 verses were spoken by Arjuna. 41 verses were spoken by Sanjaya. And the remaining one verse was the start off by Dhritarashtra. It's really messing around with my screen also, this whole power thing, because it's connected. This is also going up and down and back and forth. So you better protect your laptop also. Okay, so the first 6 chapters of the Gita, starting 1st to 6th, focus on Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, which means right action. The word yoga means to connect. To connect with whom? To connect with God. Yoga is not just some gymnastics, some nose pressing, some exercise. No. Yoga means to connect to the Supreme. And Karma Yoga, we'll explain things in a little bit more detail. Today's class will be a little shorter, not because the topic is brief, but because I have already made you wait. I don't want you to sit late. We'll try and close on time. But otherwise, we'll try and start at 7 sharp every week. We had surprisingly, for some reason, today there was huge traffic. Saturday is normally empty. And I still don't know why. The driver can't explain why there's so much traffic. But it's no excuse. At least we are expected to arrive on time. So this Bhagavad Gita as it is, it's called Bhagavad Gita as it is. As it is meaning? What does as it is mean? Sorry? As it was said by Krishna. Not like some, could it be like this? It is not Krishna who is speaking, but some soul within Krishna is speaking. All the nonsense is not there. It is spoken by Krishna. So yatha roop, jasya hai tashi in Marathi. No, it is not a part of the Upanishad, it's a part of the Mahabharata. The Bhagavad Gita appears as a part of the Mahabharata, but it captures the essence of the Upanishad. Okay, please put your Shri mobiles on silent mode. Because I think the only thing that can make the world stop is a mobile. I thought it was Krishna, then I realized it was a mobile. So because a mobile can interrupt even Bhagavad Gita class. And Bhagavad Gita class cannot interrupt a mobile. And I can't blame you because that's the way our lives are structured, which gives us all the more reason to have these classes. So you can press that pause button once in a while and introspect, right? But I won't blame you, been there, done that. So I've been in the corporate world for about 13 years. That was till the year 2008. So for the last 15 years I'm a monk. But before that I've been practicing Krishna consciousness. So I can understand. I would recommend that all of you buy a copy of the Bhagavad Gita as it is. For the course, just so that you take it seriously. We have enough copies of the English Gita. So our Tarun Krishna Prabhu is there. He is in charge of our book distribution initiative. So please ensure that you pick up your copy of the Gita today. So this is no commercial, I'm just actually saying. We charge a bit for, we ask for a donation so that the production costs are covered. But for the most priceless scripture of all, it is reasonably priced. It's still the world's largest distributed copy of the Bhagavad Gita. So you're welcome to purchase it today. So like I said, it's yoga. First 6 chapters is Karma Yoga. The next 6 chapters, that is 7 to 12, is Bhakti Yoga. The last 6 chapters, 13 to 18, is Jnana Yoga. Now, if you take a box, the bottom 6 chapters, the bottom part of the box are like the first 6 chapters, which is Karma Yoga. The top part is Jnana Yoga. But what is inside the jewel box is the middle 6 chapters, which is Bhakti Yoga. And on top of the box, there are 2 jewels. They are verse number 18.65 and 18.66, which incidentally are the chapters on Jnana Yoga, culmination. But still they focus completely on Bhagavad Gita as a means to devotion to the Supreme Lord. In other words, the one underlying theme for the entire Bhagavad Gita as it is surrender unto me. That is not me, Krishna. Surrender unto me is what Krishna is saying. That's the one underlying theme of the Bhagavad Gita. The entire Bhagavad Gita is inundated with devotion. You may say anything else, Gita contains this, Gita contains that. But Krishna is very clearly saying in verses number 18.65 and 18.66. So, Acharyas conclude, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who is a great Acharya in the Vaishnava line, he concludes that these 2 verses represent, they're like jewels. Now, let's get a little deeper into the Gita. I'm just focusing on the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita today. So, it's a foundational scripture. In other words, it is the ABCD of spiritual life. You have to know at least what the Gita says before you claim we are spiritual. And it includes 5 major topics. The Bhagavad Gita includes 5 major topics. The first one is God, Ishvara. Repeat after me, Ishvara. Ishvara means controller. Second is Jiva, the living entities. They are the living entities. Third is Prakriti. We haven't even started, you become so tired. Yeah. Prakriti is nature, material nature. Fourth is Kala, time. And fifth is Karma. Now, which is activities under the jurisdiction of eternal time performed under the 3 modes of material nature. They are called Karma. Now, we already discussed this part, first 6 chapters, next 6 chapters, and so on and so forth. Bhagavad Gita is like a jewel box, and that's what we discussed earlier. The Bhagavad Gita is a mother of all management books. I've been in management for 13 years outside ISKCON and 15 years within ISKCON. And I can confirmedly tell you that Gita is what they copy shamelessly without giving any copyright to Krishna. No credit to Krishna. But they simply copy the content of the Gita. Harvard has so many credit courses on the Bhagavad Gita. IIM Ahmedabad has a half credit course on Bhagavad Gita. But we think that it's okay, something to be read when somebody passes away in the house. घर पे कोई गुजरता है तो गीता खोलते हैं. There are people who say that if you keep a Gita at home, there will be fights. Is that true? You heard of this? If you keep Gita at home, there will be fights. Acha, Gita, you will separate the 18 chapters and keep only Mahabharata, is it? He is confirming, no, Mahabharata. So, Mahabharata contains the Gita. It's very clear. Yes, if you keep the Gita at home and don't read it, there will be fights. Don't just keep Bhagavad Gita as it is in the bookshelf. Open it and read it. This is very, very important. So, it's a subject of case studies at Harvard, Hollywood. Hollywood, there was a movie called The Legend of Bagger Vance. It's based on the Bhagavad Gita. The whole Matrix trilogy is just shamelessly copied from Gita with some sense gratification thrown in, that's all. So like I discussed, yoga means linking with the Supreme. Now if this linking with Krishna or God or Supreme is based on activity, karma, then it is called karma yoga. If this linking is philosophical, it's called Vijnana Yoga. And if this is linked to the meditation on the super soul, then it is called Ashtanga Yoga. But if it is linked to devotional service, please note the phrase devotional service. That is why I told you, some of you would like to help in setting up the class. There is no devotion. You can't perform devotion without any service. You cannot say that, Mom, I love you, and then sit there when she asks for water, not give her a glass of water. That's not love. Love means there is an exchange of service. It's mandatory. If there is no service, there is no love, there is no devotion. So these classes on Saturday will be in English. Otherwise, we have, I think Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday probably. They are all in Hindi. These classes will be in English. So that will be very, very important that you pay attention. If possible, you can prepare notes. If possible, you can prepare notes. You can get yourself notepads, pens, ThinkPads, mobiles, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they'll let you know. Vinaswam Prabhu, you can tell them when are the classes in Hindi. When are the classes in Hindi? Okay, we are starting Hindi Gita classes exclusively like this, serialized in April. So that's next month. We'll start them in Hindi. Otherwise, there are classes already going on, but this sort of sequential teaching of the Gita will start from April. Yeah? So till then she can still attend. I'm sure this itna अंग्रेजी तो आती होगी आपको, पक्का है. No, this is no rocket science. She'll understand. She knows Gita more than you. She'll do well. For you also, I hope. So devotional service is Bhakti Yoga. And when the linking to the Supreme is based on devotional service, it's called Bhakti Yoga. Now, what is the background? Whoever comes in, you please tell them also to switch off their mobiles when they come in. Otherwise, they'll come here and create ruckus. I don't want that. So it's a fratricidal conflict, fight between brothers, effectively. So the 5 sons of Pandu, 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. There were so many difficulties because the Kauravas wanted the whole kingdom. The Pandavas were the legitimate heirs of the kingdom, but the Kauravas wanted it, so they cheated, they gambled, they connived, they did all kind of things. Even peace negotiations which were led by Krishna, the Supreme Person, failed. They were not accepted by the Kauravas. And so, war became inevitable. So, I think this font size is too small. From next time I'll ensure that the font size is bigger. I didn't realize it will be so small. So there were so many atrocities against the Pandavas. Finally it came down to a fight unto death. So, at that time, as the war was about to begin, Arjuna he was one of the main warriors on the side of the Pandavas. Who was the other main warrior? Bhima. Yeah. So Bhima and Arjuna, they were the main warriors, but among them Arjuna became bewildered. So he exhibited all the symptoms of what you normally call as stress. All the symptoms of stress. Vepatuscha shariram me romaharshas sajayate gandivam sramsate hastat tvakte vaparidakyate. My whole body is sweating. My hairs are standing on end. I'm shivering. He was also shedding tears. His whole mouth was going dry. So all these symptoms are classic symptoms of stress. So the world's first stress management session was conducted on the field of Kurukshetra by Krishna. It lasted hardly 45 minutes. Research shows that the average human being's attention span in the corporate world is 40 minutes. Modern research has shown it is reduced even further to 25 minutes. So we are hoping that our sessions will not be so long that you lose your attention span. Well, I came prepared.
Okay.
So 45 minutes, it is the first stress management session. It was less than an hour. The Bhagavad Gita was not spoken. ये गलतफहमी है लोगों को, that Bhagavad Gita was spoken to incite war. It was not incited to merely to encourage Arjun to fight the battle. That is not the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. If you think so, that means you have read Bhagavad Gita from Amar Chitragatha or Tinkle or what is that called? B.R. Chopra's TV serials. Nowadays people don't even watch that. Which is the latest one? Mahabharata, which version? On TVs? Suddenly everybody becomes so nice. Either we don't watch TV or we don't watch this on TV. Who will waste time on Mahabharata in TV? If you're watching TV, at least you can do other things. No? But the fact is that Arjuna is our bona fide representative. Arjuna's war was real. We all have our little battles. We have a little battle with our own indecision. We have a little battle with our relatives. We have a little battle with our colleagues. We have a little battle with our government, our neighbors, so on and so forth. So the Gita is a manual of life. This is disgusting. Let's use this arrangement. I know I look like a bit of a rock star, but it's fine. No option. So the Gita was spoken, like Krishna tells Arjuna, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha mayar pita mano buddher mame veshyatya samshayaha. Therefore, at all times, sarveshu kaleshu, remember me and fight. Mam anusmara yudhyacha. Not just fight. Karne budya. That is not Gita. Not just fight. He also didn't say go to the Himalayas and meditate. He said Mam anusmara yudhyacha. You have to remember me and also fight. And the Bhagavad Gita is a manual of life. Like you have a manual for a computer, a manual for a projector. We also need a manual for connecting. And that is the Gita. Gita is a manual for connecting to Krishna. See, somebody makes something, he creates something, he invents something. He has to tell people how to use it. नहीं तो लोग बोलेंगे काय को दुनिया बनाई, दुनिया बनाने वाले. So he clearly tells us what is to be done with this world that we live in, the life that we've got. That is the Gita. So, all of you should analyze the Arjuna in you. This is not mental speculation. I'm just trying to put things in perspective. This is not a symbolic presentation. Arjuna is real, Krishna is real, and so are we. So, Krishna spoke the Gita to Arjuna that if you perform your duty in good consciousness, in the right consciousness, then you will take up your prescribed responsibility. All of us have a prescribed responsibility. Somebody is a wife, somebody is a husband, somebody is a good law-abiding citizen, somebody is a manager. So everybody has a certain prescribed duty. Now the duty differs for everyone. What was Arjuna's duty? Fight. What is the duty for a student? Bolo, what is the duty for a student? What is the duty? You don't know? It's to study. You're not a student, huh? So that student's duty is to study. You're called a student because you have to study. That's the duty. And what is the duty for managers? Management. So everybody has a duty. Now, of course, in a Vedic context, there is a clear delineation of duties among various classes. Varnashrama dharma. But in whichever context we are living in, there still ought to be a delineation of prescribed duties, a division of clear duties, what we have to do, what we have not to do. So then, Arjuna was standing there all bewildered. He doesn't know what is his duty. Prichhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta, Arjuna says. Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta. I'm asking you because I don't know what is my duty. What should I do? Kya karu, kya nahi karu? What is my duty? I don't know. Arjuna is asking Krishna. Dharma sammudha cheta. He didn't know his duty. So Gita is a scripture, is a manual which teaches us how. First of all, what is our duty, and then in what consciousness should we render this duty. Please don't assume that in 18 classes I will teach the entire Gita. These 18 classes will focus on the 18 chapters and a little bit more to give you a perspective of the Gita so that you can study the Gita in detail. If I'm even thinking that suppose they all take it seriously, we will be administering a test for you also, objective test. Yeah, we have a plan and we have certification also. Those of you who have seriously taken that course, we can even start an intensive Bhagavad Gita course, a 6-month course or something on Bhagavad Gita. Yes, that we will announce. That's your call. So, why the Gita? Why not something else? So the point is that we work with our body, our mind. We think that we work with our body, but really speaking, we work with our mind and the intelligence. If some painter were to start a painting, does it start right from the hand or start from here? Where does it start? He's already formed a picture in his head. So the first creation happens there. And then he puts it on a canvas using an easel. So, therefore, the Bhagavad Gita teaches one how to absorb one's mind and intelligence in the thoughts of the Supreme. How can we absorb ourselves in the Supreme? Hare Krishna. So, you're testing my surrender and dependence on the Supreme Lord. So therefore, if the mind is engaged in service of the Supreme, I think what I'll do is it's getting very difficult even for me to read. It's just so small. Yeah. Gone, is it? It's like one chui-mui connector, right? So sensitive. 9, I will not connect. Okay, there it is, fine. So the mind is engaged in service of the Supreme. Then the senses are automatically engaged in service of the Supreme. Just like there is a chariot. The chariot represents the human body. The 5 horses pulling the chariot are the 5 senses. But please don't misunderstand that Arjuna represents the mind, Krishna represents the... No. Arjuna is Arjuna, Krishna is Krishna. I am giving an example to illustrate the role of the body. The body is the chariot. The senses are the 5 horses which are pulling. Now, what controls the horses? What controls your horses? Reins, yeah. The reins are the mind. And who holds the reins? The charioteer or the driver. That is the intelligence. You get it? The body is the chariot, the senses are the horses, the mind is the reins, the intelligence is the driver, and who is the traveler? That is the soul. That is we. If at the end of 18 sessions, at least you know this much, that I am spirit soul, there is a God, we have a relationship, and I have to revive it. If you get this constantly into your head, these sessions would be a success. Rest is just the details. And modern man, it is mentioned, he has struggled to reach the moon. But he has not taken the pains to go inward. We've gone outward. Long distances we have traveled. But we have not bothered to go inward and study ourselves spiritually. And if one has 50 years ahead of him, suppose, how many of you are born in the 1980s? How many are born in the 1970s? Okay. How many from the 1960s? Okay, few. So the point is, there is a newspaper has an expiry period. What is a newspaper's tenure? What is the lifespan of a newspaper? Oh, you'll read newspaper in the night? No. Few hours. Couple of hours. What about milk? Honestly speaking, forget the fridge. Maybe 24 hours for best results. A fruity packet, 6 months. As it is a sada pani, but if you want to. But just check your sleeves, is there any expiry date? So assume you have some years ahead of you. What is important is that using this time, at least try and find out who am I, who is God, what is my relationship with Him, how do I revive it? And the Gita offers a platform for that. Now, if I study the Bhagavad Gita, will this make me a religious freak? I just demonstrated. How many people are here who are born in the 1950s? In the 1950s, 1950 के दशक में कितने लोग यहाँ हैं जो पैदा हुए हैं? One person who is honest, others are not admitting. So one person, this is a temple in Sector 45 Gurgaon. So do you really think, first of all, you will live till that age, given the pollution levels, noise levels, and all the trash that we have to face? Are we really confident we live till that age? Even if we live, how many of our peers are here? Please tell me, at this age. And how many people born in 1960s are here? Maybe 5 or 8 people. Again, what is the guarantee you will live till the age of 60? And even if you live, you will come for a class on the Gita. So therefore, utilize this time while you have the energy, the intelligence, the sharpness to study and understand the Gita. So, in the human society, they call it Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra in the Bhagavad Gita. Brahmana doesn't mean just because उसने जनेऊ पहले ब्राह्मण हो गया. ISKCON is present in over 120 countries of the world. You think we export Brahmanas from India? No. Brahmana is by qualification. Guna karma vibhakachaha. by qualities and by activities. You cannot call yourself Suresh Sharma and sell leather or meat products. It's not Brahminical activity. So, as per guna and karma, one is called a Brahmana. We have Brahmanas in Russia, we have Brahmanas in Australia, we have Brahmanas in Africa, we have Brahmanas in Latin America, people who actually follow the regulative principles of spirituality and chant 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We have people like that across the world. There are Brahmanas blowing the conch at 4:30 a.m. in 120 countries. 750 temples of ISKCON. They are not born in Brahmin family. By birth, nobody becomes Brahmin. I was born in a so-called South Indian Brahmin family where I've learned and I've taught the Vedas. But I don't think I really became Brahmin till I took up the process of Krishna consciousness and I was initiated. You need to be initiated as a Brahmin. Diksha. And all of you can become Brahmanas. This movement is about making Brahmanas. Even if whether you're born in a Brahmin family or not, you can become a Brahmana. Raghuveer Pran, तुम्हारे पेरेंट्स ब्राह्मण हैं क्या? नहीं, but he is a pujari, he is a brahmana, he is initiated as a brahmana. He is the first brahmana in his house. Dinesh Sudama, is your family brahmanas? What about you? They are not both, but they are both brahmanas. They chant Gayatri 3 times a day. They eat only sattvic food offered to Krishna. So this is Brahmana. Kshatriya. Kshatriya doesn't mean you are born in a Kshatriya family alone. That doesn't make you a Kshatriya. You have to exhibit Kshatriya qualities. Similarly, Vaishya, Shudra. So intellectual class is Brahmana. Administrative and martial class is Kshatriya. Mercantile class is Vaishya. And labor class is Shudra. Labor class can be born in a Brahminical family also. So it is bogus to claim supremacy on the basis of birth. That is for animals. To claim supremacy on the basis of birth is animalistic thought. I am a tiger, I am a rabbit, like that. Human beings have to, first of all, should not claim supremacy for anything. We are supposed to be humble. But if at all we want to take pride in, it should be on the basis of our service. What service are we rendering? And of course, when you serve, you naturally become humble. You can't become proud. You can only serve if you are humble. So Krishna tells Arjuna, Arjun bolte the main ladunga nahi. Krishna tells Arjuna, don't give up your occupation. You are a Kshatriya. If you don't fight, people will make fun of you. Hey, dekho, lad nahi raha. They'll make fun of you. So therefore, he says, you perform your occupational duty, but at the same time you remember who is the Supreme. This is very important. So, for every one of us, what matters is if we don't remember God when we are healthy and when we are in a position to fight our battles, we will not be able to remember God when we have to fight the ultimate battle, which is with death. At that time, you have no strength. Prana prayana samaye kapavata pittair kandhavarodana vidau smaranam kutaste. Your throat is chortled with kapha, vata, pitta, mucus, bile, air. You can't get it. It's called death rattle, air hunger. Equivalent to the pain of 40,000 scorpions stinging at the same time. At that time, how can we remember God when we have not practiced remembering Him the whole life? And that is what Gita teaches. How to be God conscious in the midst of our battles. So, I'll conclude with this because it's time, not because I am done. Because I don't want you to feel it's very late. I will just give a quick summary of the 3 sessions of Gita and then conclude. So initially Arjuna observes the armies on the battlefield. He feels very stressed out and anxious. He says, I will not fight. He gives many reasons to not fight, which we'll discuss in the next week, the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So then when Arjuna says, I will not fight, Dhritarashtra becomes a little hopeful. Now it's fine. My sons have a hope now. So Arjuna is not going to fight. So Arjuna it's like suddenly there is a cricket match happening between India and say Australia or Pakistan, and India's best player is not playing, so the other team will feel happy. It's like that. And this is a battle, real battle. So then the second chapter, Krishna starts, Arjuna takes shelter of Krishna. Please accept me as your disciple. And then Krishna starts teaching him the science of the soul. So the second chapter is called a summary of Bhagavad Gita. Contents of Gita summarized. The entire 18 chapters effectively summarized in the second chapter. It's one of the longest chapters. So Krishna teaches him the science of the soul there. And then Krishna tells him in that Durena Kyavaram Karma, Buddhi Yoga Dhananjaya. Keep away all abominable activities using your intelligence. So Arjuna thinks fighting is also not intelligent. I'm going to kill people, so I will not fight. It's confusing Krishna. You're saying on the one hand, you're saying fight. On the other hand, you're saying don't do this abominable activity. So Arjuna starts by asking this question. And you will find out that Arjuna is an intelligent student. He humbly presents his questions to Krishna. It's not like just he blindly follows. It's not like that. He follows him with due inquiry, submissive inquiry. And then Krishna, therefore, in the third chapter, talks about karma yoga. What is the right action? How he has to perform nishkama karma yoga. Action without attachment to results. He also tells him how to overcome lust, how to control anger, etc. And the Krishna presents the transcendental knowledge by which one can be overcoming lust. Lust means selfish desire. It is not just carnal attraction or anything. And then in chapter 4, he gives the sequence of how the Gita was received. Chapter 5, he continues Karma Yoga. And in chapter 6, he gets into Ashtanga Yoga. There is one slide missing, I think I'll have to add that. From chapters 4 to 6, I'll have to add that. Okay. So, that's Karma Yoga. And then he gets into Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga. But the culmination of all is abandon all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. That's what Krishna says. So the Gita, remember this, gratitude is the attitude. Repeat after me. Gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude. That is Gita. We have to be grateful to Krishna. We have to be grateful to our Supreme Lord. That was my alarm from going back. So we have to be grateful to Krishna for this. And it will help us introspect further. The Gita helps you introspect. Look within. Monotheistic means one God, but that God is one. So therefore, people should start asking questions. Why am I suffering? What is the real suffering? What is the cause of my suffering? This suffering could be in your office. This suffering could be at home. Suffering could be in your relationships. Suffering could be inside you. So the sincere student should at least, and here is my only condition for you to attend this course. Only one condition. You can come in any condition, but this one condition is required. That is that at least theoretically you should accept that Krishna is God. Otherwise there's no meaning in attending a Gita class. Time pass also. Don't do mental gymnastics. Don't get an analysis paralysis. At least theoretically accept Krishna is God. Otherwise the entire Gita falls flat as a value system. Don't even bother wasting time. If it is just some king of Dwarka, some historical personality, or some concept, then don't study the Gita. Do better things. Go play cricket. If you want to really understand the Gita, at least fundamentally have a construct that Krishna is God. And therefore, like I said, humility is the way to learn. We encourage sincere inquiry from all of you. But do so in a mood of humility and sincerity to know about God. I don't want to prove anything to you. At the end of 18 chapters, Krishna tells Arjuna, after due deliberation, do as you please. Who am I to take away your free will, to disagree with me? I will not force you to accept any construct, but at the same time, your inquiry should be in a mood of humility rather than challenge. I have nothing to prove to you. Don't believe in it. Don't come here. Your choice. If you want to learn sincerely, in a mood of humility, have submissive inquiry. That will help. And it is mentioned that unless you do so, the Gita is very difficult to understand because it's a big mystery. If there is one thing that makes this, opens this Gita for you, it is your spirit of sincere, submissive inquiry, which Arjuna did. You are not greater than Arjuna. Arjuna was so humble. That's how he got the knowledge. And so, the Bhagavad Gita is a universal book of transcendental knowledge. It helps you become selfless. Dhritarashtra starts Bhagavad Gita by saying, Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva. What happened to my sons and Pandus? See, you started with us. Discrimination. The Bhagavad Gita gives you right discrimination, intelligence. But it will give you the discrimination that you do not discriminate. You look at everybody at the spiritual platform. And therefore, at the end of the Gita talks about the universal peace formula in 5th chapter, 29th verse. The Gita talks about the summary in the 11th chapter, 55th verse. सबसे पहले ध्यान रखना, गीता का सार ये नहीं है कि कल जो था किसी और का है, परसों किसी और का होगा, तुम क्या लाए हो तुम छोड़ जाओगे. That is not Gita sar. That is what the shopkeepers put up to save time. It has nothing to do with the Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita is not कर्म करो फल की इच्छा मत करो. It is not just that. So all that we'll have to understand. And it is also mentioned things like right eating, right sleeping, right recreation. It's all mentioned. You will know how to not discriminate between a dog, a brahmana, a cow, a dog eater. You'll have that spiritual vision you'll have to develop. That will come through the Gita. It will help you philosophize when you are in adversity. When you are in adversity, when you are alone, and there's nobody to help, the Gita will be there. To conclude, Arjuna, then Krishna left the planet. Arjuna was completely shattered. He didn't know what to do. He remembered all those instances when Krishna had appeared and helped them in the house of Lag, in the attempted disrobing of Draupadi, in the gambling match. So many places Krishna helped them eventually. In the battle, so many places. He was somewhat relieved. But then Arjuna started meditating on the instructions that Krishna personally gave him in the Bhagavad Gita. And as he remembered those instructions, Arjuna felt that Krishna was standing right there next to him. The Srimad Bhagavatam says this. So you will get the benefit of Krishna's instructions to Arjuna by studying the Gita. And it will become an integral part of your life. Because Krishna has been your integral companion for millions of births. When you're a cat, you're a dog, you're a pig, you're a hog, you're a devata, whatever you were, Krishna was there in your heart. Sarvasya jaham hridi sannivishto matta smritirjnanam apohanam cha. I am present in the heart of everyone, Krishna says. So to that Krishna, we have to be grateful and understand this much, that because he is with all of us, we have to understand his instructions. He is our best well-wisher. He is the supreme controller, supreme enjoyer, and he is our best friend. This is the understanding that the Gita gives. So as a part of this series, next week we'll start with the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I will also try and give you some handouts from these chapters. We will coordinate. Please form yourself in the WhatsApp group. Prabhu will be forming a WhatsApp group for these people. Those who have registered will be part of a WhatsApp group. We will be giving you notes, handouts, some handouts. There will be an exam objective type, very simple. It is engineered to make you pass. We want to test your knowledge, not your ignorance. So after that you will get a certificate also.
We will take questions.
Okay, fine. So, Hare Krishna. Question.
What I have read somewhere that during when Krishna was preaching Arjuna, the time was stopped. Like as you said, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But I heard that it was totally stopped because nobody knows that it was the Gita had happened.
The Mahabharata doesn't say that. I'm not even talking about Gita and Bhagavatam. Mahabharata directly doesn't say that. I've read the Mahabharata and it doesn't say that. But I mean, what is it for Krishna to stop time? If we can use Sudarshana Chakra to cover the sun, and Jayadratha comes out laughing and Jayadratha is killed instantly. Krishna can make day into night and night into day. So it's not a big deal. Even if it is happening, it's not a surprise. But there is no indication given in the Gita itself or the Mahabharata or Bhagavatam about this. But it's perfectly possible if Krishna wanted to, because the whole conversation in many places, Acharya say, was witnessed by people on both sides. Some could understand.
Like they were just looking at it like something is happening, but they don't know.
No, that is what the TV serials teach us. There is no mention like this in any of the known scriptures. I'll be happy to discuss if there is some reference you have. I am not aware. At least I am not aware. Give me the reference. Yes. Okay, this was originally, I have used this presentation for a corporate which works under the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I've made a presentation for them, a series of classes for them. I'm going to start a similar session for the employees of Mercedes-Benz next week. So I was anyway preparing this presentation, so I thought I will use this PPT for you. Sector 45, high-tech people, I will use PPT. Although I should not be using PPT. What is that thing called? I forgot. What is that thing in Mac? There's some package, no equivalent package. Phase? No, what is it called? There's an even better package in Apple. Anyway, so this is meant for the group thing, means people don't think, people are not independently thoughtful. They're influenced by herd mentality. I'm forced to follow just because you're telling me, or because I like you, or something like that. I will not assert my individual thoughtfulness, independent thoughtfulness. It is not independence, but independent thoughtfulness. Groupthink would influence the way you think. You will lose your individuality. Like that. Yeah, but you are free to agree with the group or not. That's the point. It still requires the individual to be analytical and thoughtful. Yeah. Yes. One second. Your usual. I want to take a question. Somebody who's new. Who else? Yes, bro.
What is this deductive learning and WIFM?
WIFM is what's in it for me. It's a popular usage. And deductive learning is Avarohana Paddhati. It comes from the top. Knowledge from the top. Inductive learning would be you have to go through the whole process from below. You may have... Somebody is coming from the top. No? It just says it encourages deductive learning. Inductive learning would mean that you become intuitive. You look for yourself the answers. Deductive learning is top down. It comes from the top. Avarohana. Is that right? Okay. Any questions from the Matajis?
Any questions from the Matajis?
Oh, please, by the way, Matajis does not mean that we are mean. Doesn't mean that you're old. It just means that you're mothers. Matruvat paradareshu. Anybody else's wife is a mother. Doesn't matter what age. Future wife, present wife, past wife. All are mothers. Any questions? Comments? No, it is learning that does not depend on your individual enquiry and you do all the hard yards. You accept knowledge from the right source and accept it as it is. Without being influenced by groupthink. You receive all the data and information and you would try to make the most of it using your independent thoughtfulness. You accept it. It is arohana, like in music there is arohana and avarohana. Sari gama pada ni sa is arohana. Then sa ni ra pa ma ga re. So you go down. It's avarohana. So it's coming from the top. You use your independent thoughtfulness whether you want to accept it or not. But you don't do all the search yourself. You approach a bona fide source and accept the knowledge. Like that.
Like deducting the bad thoughts. Deducting your bad thoughts.
Yeah, you could say that. Eliminating the unwanted.
It's basically unwanted.
This is the right one. So this is the... Yes.
What's the chronology of scriptures? What's Gita written before?
It is said by Acharyas that chronology doesn't matter. You have to just go by the tattva. Sometimes what happens is the Vedic cycle of time is eternal. So Varahadeva appeared in Swayambhu Manvantara also. He appeared in Chakshusha Manvantara also. That is 6 millennia later. So Krishna appears on every day of Brahma. Brahma's lifespan is 311 trillion years. Every day of Brahma, Krishna appears himself. We think that only one Dwapar Yuga Krishna appeared. No. He appears like that. So that cycle of time is eternal. So chronology is important but not indispensable. You have to go by the tattva, the philosophy. That's more important. Yeah. So the Gita is one element of it. What we are planning is that those who are a little serious, we have personal training sessions for all of you. We have Ashraya groups. They call personal care sessions. There will be trained householders because I cannot be teaching all of you personally. So we have householders like Dinasudama Prabhu is in charge of the overall congregational training program. So we will have maybe couples or grahastha who will be training all of you how to meditate, how to balance your perspectives in life, how can you manage your day-to-day duties and also your spiritual responsibilities, both. So that's probably the next stage. The Gita is a means for you to get the flavor of taste for spiritual life. Like I said, it's ABCD of spiritual life. Okay, one last question we can take, yes? No, this generally the pastime we are told is we're talking about this Manvantara. Vivas for the Manvantara in this age. Like because Krishna says, Vivaswan Manave Praha in the 4th chapter. Vaivasvata Manvantara is our time cycle. Good question. There is no cyclical time with regard to this basic pastimes of Krishna at least. But some of the other avatars, the Bhagavatam has different versions. But it is perfectly possible to have Kala Bheda for Krishna. What is it? One snap for him. Yeah. Yes, any other questions or we'll close? Okay, all of you need to take dinner prasadam also. So with me also I have my friend Dipesh Rajiv. He is a smart city, don't look back, I'm talking about you. So he is a smart city architect, the product of XLRI, and is trying to tie up with various countries of the world for executing those projects. So you can all pray for him also. He just come to suffer by listening to me. So, and also I want to thank my secretary, Prashant Prabhu. Say Hare Krishna. So he has been helping me a lot, and I'm grateful that he's been with me. And thanks again, Veerasubham Prabhu, for this nice word. So you can make some announcements and close. Sorry again for concluding late and starting late. We will try and keep up with the timing from next time, 7 p.m. sharp. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, first of all, thank you very much for such a wonderful class. By now chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.